Arkosh Gaming, fourth pickup for them now. I mean, there is still potential they run the mid DP. More than likely, it's probably going to be the offlane pick, but we'll see what they want to do. Highly doubtful it's going to be a position 5 DP this game around because you already have the Ogre Magi that should be the pos 5. They're going to use a bit of reserve time here. Gotta say, I'm surprised Arkosh have any reserve time considering the time they showed up today, but there you go.
Yeah, well, it does happen. Arkosh, I mean, seeing that Grimstroke, that's one way to kind of deal with this Phantom Lancer as a support. You've got the Stroke of Fate that can fly out. The Silence, if you manage to catch him outside of vision, is also pretty potent. And you have the Inkswell combos with a Blink on Tide, with Mirana jumping in. There are options for aggression here from Latam defenders that we would have to watch out for on Arkosh. Still thinking hard, probably looking for a pause 4. And they do get the Wind Rangers, so still flexible for Arkosh. They could run the core Wind Ranger. They could still maybe go for a mid DP or Wind Ranger off or offlane mid Wind Ranger. No, I already said that. Offlane Wind Ranger is a possibility as well, though not as common. But likely our pause 4. Latam defenders do respond with a Leshrac. So it's really good to tie in this draft for Latam. They've got a lot of push on hand. This is also one of the ways to deal with a PL, right? We see Leshrac into PL so many times just to counteract it. You have great AoE damage to burn through the PL early on. This should indicate that Pale Horse might have to divert towards the Hood of Defiance first, just so he's not going to be picked off as easily early on in the game.
I'm not sure if the viewers are seeing this, but at times it looks like my camera's glitching or something. There's literally a fly in my room, John. In that 1 hour break, I opened the door for a second and a fly-through came through, and now it's just flying around consistently in front of my camera. At one stage, just a few seconds ago, it literally landed on top of the webcam and was just sitting there, and I was actually afraid that it was going to go onto the lens and just take over the whole camera. It's gone now. It's somewhere in... I don't even know where it's gone. It's probably going to annoy me the whole game, but... Welcome to Australia, I guess. Just flies
Where are the spiders? Where are the spiders, Mike? You got bit by a spider, so there's one near your desk. Why isn't it eating the flies? What is it doing?
We actually do have quite a bit of spiders. Not really inside, though, John. Sometimes you leave the outside ones because they do take care of the flies, but the inside ones is a bit of a no-no. You know, they tend to attack humans rather than flies if they are left inside, which, you know, it's preferable that we don't get bitten by spiders when we go to bed. Sometimes we don't have a choice, but, you know. Anyway, Latam defenders, final pickup for them, John. Position 1 has not been picked up yet. Maybe just run an Ursa or something here. Battle Fury Ursa seems kind of alright into the PL. Jug's not available.
It's a solid option. It's an option that Ursa, you just worry about, again, the mana burn that can come out through the PL, but if you're confident about your Leshrac matching up against PL's timings, then Ursa should be enabled here, no problem. Gives you the Grimstroke combo as well with the Inkswell, a really nice lane to have for Latam defenders on hand. Might be some kite ability here from just a Wind Ranger Shackle, but that's not reliable for Arkosh. Their best reliable stun is that Ogre Magi, followed up with a Silence from the DP, so the Ursa shouldn't have too many issues if they do want to last pick it here on Latam, but they are taking their time as well on their last overall pick, thinking about that pause 1. Maybe looking for something that scales equally well. In that case, a lot of the other options besides Ursa has been banned out. So they're just gonna take their time here.
They are taking their time.
Yeah, just think about it, I guess.
10 seconds reserve time left for Latam defenders. And they go for the Monkey King. Alright, so another Battle Fury carrier, but you can also go into the Maelstrom, which is a bit more popular. Either way works out. Change that into Mjolnir later on. Wukong's pretty good up against the PL as well. Of course, Aghanim Scepter even pretty good up against the PL. Still Arkosh Gaming, 1 pick left. And by the way, John, we never really talked about the fact that Arkosh have chosen Wind Ranger regardless of their manager's opinion of the hero. So, quite shocked to see this. And I didn't bring this up earlier, but they really are the devils, John. I mean, even the manager can't control them.
No one can control them. Kyle said he would allow only one all chat. That's not going to happen.
No.
Obviously not. No one can tell these guys what to do. And without Wind Ranger, of course, should be interesting to see what exactly they get done. Of course, if they lose, I'm sure they're not going to hear the end of it from Mr. Gerg. So we'll see. They do go with a puck last pick here. Still staying flexible. You should see the picks locked in. Keen is Vulpus puck coming out. Crow is on that support Wind Ranger. So we do have the offlane DP making its reappearance. Latam defenders looking tight. They've got good team fight. Ravage and Wukong's is an excellent combination. Inkswell on Monkey King's a very reliable way of starting these fights as well. So I just on draft, I'd actually have to go with Latam defenders. I'm going against myself here because I'm out of cat litter and I'm not energized. But I think you have the response on Latam to control Pale Horse's Phantom Lancer. Pale Horse, he's been digging this one build up. I wonder if he goes for it again, just opting to go for Shard, Aether Lance into Octarine. He doesn't have the Keeper of the Light to lower the cooldown of his Spirit Lance early on. So you're not going to have that self-sustain for the spam, but eventually you get to that point. We'll see how it breaks out. But Latam defenders are looking a lot better here for game number 1. And they are looking better as well in terms of cosmetics because obviously Arkosh has nothing.
No, they don't. Very, very worrying signs, actually. No cosmetics at all. All right. We'll get into it, John. Game number 1. I noticed you said you had no cat litter either, John, but you said 5 minutes ago you had a bag of cat litter underneath your desk.
I finished it. I had the bag. It's empty. It's empty. Canis Vulpus used some of it. He needs it. He says he goes to the backyard, but sometimes, he doesn't make it.
I'm seeing holes in your story, John.
Are you telling me I'm not actually Gremlo? How dare you accuse me of not playing this game while casting? I am playing while casting. Look at that. Smoke mid, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for that, John. Arkosh Gaming gonna move through the mid lane with a big smoke. Right through the Radiant jungle. Now they might loop around through the mid lane and assume someone's gonna place a ward. Nana is around, but it seems like he might be predicting this movement here from Arkosh. So for now, nothing being found out, but Arkosh, they can be quite patient. Very, very deep ward from Crow, but we've seen him sniping a lot of couriers before in that position 4 role, so I guess I'm not too shocked by that. And, that's it. That was what the smoke was for. They don't find anything else.
This does set a good time for Crow. As you mentioned, courier sniping is one of his specialties, so you should be able to spot out some as they come out and intercept them, preventing items flying in. Of course, it makes it slightly easier for Gremlo in that off lane. Just having that courier denied off means he does win the regen war for the most part, and that just kind of enables this off lane DP to trade better up against the safe lane monkey that is coming out here for Latam defenders.
Okay. 2 for 2 bounty rune trade. Pretty even stuff to start us off the game. Like, Aridus is just going to make his way back down bot by running. Not actually going to go for the TP. Not going to attempt first blood either on the Grimstroke. Just ignoring that altogether. And he does TP in the end. Okay. Meanwhile, Valkyrie says hello to Pale Horse, and Pale Horse will TP towards the tier 1 tower, which makes a bit more sense because he really doesn't want to miss that creep block nor the creep wave. Valkyrie probably would have just kept harassing him had he not TP'd. Goat will join him now on the Ogre. See how all this goes, John. The PL versus Tide matchup does seem to feel like it favors Valkyrie on the Tide.
Yeah, he's got a lot of harassment early on. Pale Horse could try to play around with, say, Doppel or Phantom Rush should they want to be aggressive, but this kind of lane is a bit more passive. You have the Ogre Magi who's just going to focus on forcing Moonlight away from the lane, and that's all you can really look for. So Valky should have a steady build-up in the Tide this game. Not much from Arkosh to slow down that pace. Pale Horse just focusing on that initial set of farm. He is flying out a stick into a wand just to sustain, but you can see just how strong Valky is. Goes up, gets the gush off, and suddenly all the right clicks coming out from Moonlight hurt that much more.
Of course, over in the mid lane, you've got Nanana up against Canis Vulpus. Seems like the puck should have a decent advantage in this laning phase, but we'll see how Nanana does go on the Lesh. Do you agree with that statement, John? Should Canis and the puck have the advantage here?
He does have early control. He's got slightly better range as well early on. The Leshrac, actually the Leshrac has slightly better range, but the right clicks of the puck are a lot better. And the wave clear of the Lesh is pretty good. He did go for the Lightning Storm build, at least level 1 Lightning Storm here at level 2. So he has a little bit of farming potential, but the puck, the key thing here, is that Illusory Orb is such a low commitment spell. You toss it out, it goes all the way to the back. You can get some harassment off as well. And when Nanana does not get the bounce, it just doesn't end up well.
Here goes the first blood. Moonlight will be able to pick that one up on the bottom. Goat will be the first one to go down. While that was happening, we did actually see Crow denying the courier of Aridus and getting a lot of items down. So Aridus not able to bring out that extra regen he wanted on the Grimstroke. And it does seem as though this bottom lane is actually going quite decently so far for Arkosh.
Yeah, I'm getting my last hits in 13-2, having a good start on that DP. Cocohook is having to watch himself. 11-1, not too bad, but the constant harassment Gremlo can pump out, especially since he has this early bottle up, means that the wave is constantly going to be shoved out. You can't really control it as well, and Aretes is just forced to try and hit back because Cocohook can't really gap close.
Our Crow missing a shackle there. Very easy shackle to land, but not quite getting the angle right. Still, Arkosh going to be very happy with the way this lane's gone. Like Nanana's having a decent enough time in the mid lane as well, but so is Canis Vulpus. I suppose I could say the same about the top lane. It's still a very kind of even trading lane for now. But Pale Horse is definitely not finding as much farm as he would like. And it is very hard into the anchor smash of the Tide. Of course, you've always got the Mirana to worry about as well. Just that arrow threat always going to be there, especially if you get gushed up by the Tide. Back down towards the bot lane. Cocohook taking more harassment now from Crow. It's actually going to be a super annoying lane, as every time he gets close, he gets Spirit Siphoned here by Gremlo. Aridus will try to hold back the DP. In fact, they go for the Boundless Strike and now the Inkswell, but it's not going to reach. Gremlo is a bit too quick, and he does move out of the way. I suppose it does allow Cocohook to get back to CSing a little bit, though, but Gremlo has salved up, and he's looking pretty healthy again. I suppose Cocohook's hell has begun all over.
Almost as good as me.
Yeah, they do have to pop a salve on Aretes. He is ready for this lane. He's got additional tangos as well to give onto Cocohook if need be. And Crow was not around to snipe that courier this time, so having a bit more volume, though.
Wind Run is not going to be enough to get him out of range. Cocohook, nice shackle though, my goodness. That is a big range. And Crow is going to get away by the skin of his teeth. Gremlo just hanging around, getting a few hits in onto Cocohook, but that shackle had not landed. That would have been an easy kill onto Crow.
Yeah, that saves the lane for the side of Arkosh, and they can get back to harassing Cocohook. And that early regen bought out by Aretes, he might need to expend it a bit faster still, fighting over the bounties.
Gremlo sticking around, but the Inkswell now going to come in. He'll go for the double siphon. Is it going to be enough though? Cocohook, he's doing a lot of damage with the Jingu Mastery, but it looks like it's actually not going to be enough. Gremlo will be able to walk out. Latam defenders still unable to kill the DP.
Yeah, it's just on the edge, but because he got his bottle refill, he was healing through that entire barrage. So not quite enough burst on hand yet from Latam defenders. And again, Aretes is already out of regen. Pops the last salve onto Cocohook, and that is it for the lane. He's going to need to ferry out some more. Does have a ward and clarities in, but nothing for the HP, so have to watch yourself as to how far you dive against that DP.
Top lane still very even as well. Valky 27-4, Pale Horse sitting at 29-3. Things going slightly better now for the PL, but still much of the same story. Mid lane, Dream Coil being committed onto our Lesh, but he has the Pulse Nova going. Arrow's not going to connect either. And Gremlo, he's been left alone. Canis, he leaves the building. Felt like they could have just kept auto-attacking there. Nana, he didn't have any Fairy Fires. Canis preemptively gets out and, well, Gremlo left alone to die.
Yeah, it's a big pickup here for Latam defenders. Gives a nice boost towards Nanana. Gets to go into jungle now as well to clear, and gives Moonlight space mid to soak. So you're winning out a lot here. You also managed to clear out that first siege creep. You don't have to worry about an early shove in from losing your Lesh. The thing here for Arkosh is that they are keeping the Leshrac away from their own mid-tier 1. So Nanana is not able to maximize this early edict yet, but you should look at the Latam defenders to start to play around at timings. We have seen a lot of teams prioritize either the mid or the opposing safely in Tier 1 just to get some space on the map here.
We have a quick disconnection here from Latam defenders. Can we check what server this was being played on? I'm pretty sure it's just the standard US East, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it should be. I think the only time we switch is when it's Brazil versus other South American players or other South American-based teams, mainly because they can play in South American servers, but the line across Peru and Brazil are different, so that causes some issues. When it comes down to US NA teams up against SA, I think it just defaults to US East, as that is the preference as well for a lot of SA players. So should be US East. I think the sheet says that as well. So it's something that I think Latam defenders have dealt with for a couple of times. They have been performing well regardless if they are receiving issues.
They have. Arkosh, very, very quiet. Very surprising stuff.
Yeah. You don't tend to see that. Not even... Well, I guess they don't have voice lines because, well, demons don't spend on games, I suppose.
I guess.
So they'd have to type out their voice lines, but very quiet. There you go. There you go. Yes.
Well, that was you, John. I mean, I just prompted you to say something, and obviously you've just said it. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Who's BSJ? Who's Moonlight talking about? Hey,
I know,
Pale
but
Horse,
Pale
like,
Horse
who's this
thinks
idiot?
he's a loser. Yeah. I don't know who that is.
Never heard of BSJ.
Kaka. What's up with Candace Vulpus and all the poopy jokes?
Poopy jokes are hilarious, John.
Promo code SPEED. There you go. Shout out to your boy Speed.
I did tweet at Arkosh the other day, John. Gave him a bit of advice.
Gremlo. Me. What am I doing? My hands. I can't stop it, Mike.
It's good to see Latam defenders actually having a chat with them. You know what I would love to see, John, one day? What if Arkosh was versing like a Filipino team? Because I know the Filipinos, they don't back down. You know, they will go at it.
Oh, I would love that. Imagine if Arkosh got to play against like Among Us version 1. Cuckoo, Whitemon,
It would have been
Abed
hilarious.
sitting in there, Savage there as well. You'd have multilingual insults. I'd love it. Oh, someday, Mike.
That's assuming Arkosh can win and make it to a land, John. Wouldn't get your hopes up there, sir, but we'll see.
The drawings begin again, Mike. Look at those artistic depictions of... Yeah, I could use my art history here. So they're drawing out this shape that does seem slightly phallic, but it could be an expression of their inner turmoil. Now, the way it's rendered out is highly primitive as well. Could indicate that their state of mind is set back. Just,
I believe what it
reflecting
actually
back
is
on simpler times.
It's probably the most evil thing known to man in 2021. The penis, John. Very, very evil stuff.
Absolutely is.
Classic Arkosh stuff here.
They do get the reconnect, but there is a clump up top now. Na reconnects and heads up for that shove. Has a level 3 edict, and they have left Goat alone here.
They have. Goat. Can he defend? He's going to try for the TP. Moonlight, not going to see him in time. Does get himself out, but that tier 1 top tower definitely going to go down. No real way to stop it once that Diabolic Edict has been popped. They'll just take care of it the old-fashioned way. Meanwhile, looks like Canis. I thought he might have tried to start a push in the mid lane, but Aridus is going to be there with the Grimstroke to try and hold it back. We'll go for the Inkswell now. Canis is going to get stunned up, but he does get the Dream Call out. And Canis, does he have a way out of this? He can orb, but the Boundless Strike is going to come in. And Aridus does outplay the puck.
That was a bit of a mistake, just dodging out a bit early, and now Pale Horse isn't safe in his jungle.
Pale Horse definitely in danger. Latam defenders now getting very excited. Tips flying out. At least they do get the bottom tier 2. Or tier 1, yes.
Yeah. And they get to shove into the mid. It's still a Leshrac, not much downtime for that Diabolic Edict. And you need to defend this one. No Dream Coil though.
again. Ignite there, Pulse Nova. Kane is taking a lot of damage, and Ravage is going to come out. He had no orb. Goat also being split up into an arrow, and he's going to die. Still, here comes Gremlo to try and help out, but he's a bit too late to the party. He really doesn't have the ulti anyway, so he can't really do too much. He's going to spam the Crypt Swarm and try to help out that way, but he's almost out of mana, and that T1 mid tower is definitely gone. Nice play from the defenders.
Yeah, Latam defenders just pushing in the right spots, playing while this Leshrac is strong. Finding 2 tier 1s within the first 10 minutes is big. They do have a slight lead of 1k, but they are up 5-0. And they are getting everything on the map. They're still getting space out as well here for Cocohook to just keep farming up. And they invade the jungle, keeping that aggression out.
Yeah, why the hell not? Pro trying to stick around, but can't really do so. Pale Horse going to go towards the bot lane instead. Hawk is around the area on the Monkey King. He doesn't really have much in the way of items to really be able to contest this PL at the moment. He's just trying to get his Maelstrom up.
Yeah, it's slow going for the Monkey King relative to the PL right now. You are actually more farmed than Pale Horse, so his focus on the creeps has been much more locked in. Whereas Cocohook, he's been jumping around the map, although.
Shackles was there. Gremlo being caught out. Go down. Valky going to backstroke his way up to the high ground, but nobody wants to stick around. Not good news for you, John. Gremlo ends up dying, and we know with the DP you do tend to drop off if you have a few too many deaths. That'll be the second death of the game.
Yeah, it's a rough time. They do have Exorcism up on Gremlo when I do respawn, so they should look to play, maybe down mid to take another tower, if not top, although top's a bit rougher. But they need to equalize the lanes here for Arkosh. Equalize the control they have on map. Can't afford to sit around waiting for this ult too long. And it is a bit risky as they waited too long that Valky does have Ravage back up soon.
And he does. Back into the Die Jungle they go. Has the clarity pop to make sure he has the mana for that Ravage. I suppose with this Leshrac, you could just keep going for that tier 2 tower if you really want. Nana might find that he's a bit low on mana now as well. You can see Arkosh already grouped up and ready to go. They're going to smoke up. However, Crow going to be alright. The Monkey, maybe not so much. The Dream Call is there into the silence, and they have caught out Cocohook. So a very nice pick up there for Arkosh, and that should allow them to defend that tier 2 top successfully.
And they're getting a good shove in as well. They probably still want to play with the Exorcism, looking for more.
Looks like they'll leave it be at this point.
Yeah, too tanky with that tied around. They know Valky should have the Ravage, but they'll look to try and shove. Not much time on the Exorcism left, though. They find a courier at the least, so that's worthwhile.
This could be dangerous, though. Moonlight's TP'd into the tier 1, and they are still looping around from the backside. Ravage committed. Goat is the one stunned up, but instead they're going to go on to Gremlo. DP definitely in trouble and is going to die. Goat, meanwhile, trying to TP away, is going to make it. But they've got the arguably best target. Meanwhile, Nana is by himself in the Die Triangle. Another nice Shackles out from Crow, and that's going to make it so Nana goes down.
Yeah, that's a costly loss. The Leshrac is the highest net worth hero on Latam Defender's end. That gives Pale Horse a lot of gold. He's already got the Diffusal up. Can easily just dip into that Yasha, into the SNY or Manta this game. And maybe even the value Hood of Defiance if he feels at risk. And Crow, again, just being a nuisance. Getting these shackle shots off. Managing to get harassment off. Making it tricky for them to stick. And are at this.
He's been caught out by the coil now. Power Shot, however, actually flew right through him. No damage with that. Nana now going to rotate in with the Inkswell out, trying to rush towards Gremlo, but doesn't quite get him. Arida's still alive as Canis tries to chase him down, and Gremlo does just take the kill. Gremlo still not safe. Cocohook was waiting with the Wukong's command. Still trying to run. Pulse Nova there. He's going to go for the Spirit Siphon as well, but it looks like he is well and truly just caught out. He's eventually going to die. Meanwhile, mid lane Valky does get himself a Canis Vulpus Courier. puck doesn't want anything to do with this tide.
No. They still manage to find pretty decent trades. You don't mind losing the DP too much. No exorcism up. You're not missing out on a big window. You are buying a lot of space out for Pale Horse, who again gets to focus on his farm a lot more than Cookahawk can. Although Cookahawk does have the Maelstrom coming in once his courier respawns, so you will have more damage on the monkey, potentially more farm coming out as well. And you have to watch it if you're Arkosh. You can't afford to let that Monkey King bounce back. It's still a really good response to the PL, and Pale Horse is going to be saving up for the SNY, but the top push is set to go.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Tier 2 tower going to be focused down here.
Radiant should look to their middle tower.
You don't have Nana though. Like, he's stuck down mid by himself.
They've got the coil. They're going to commit. Gremlo's around as well. Silence is there. The Leshrac in trouble. Goat did go down to the top lane, but it won't matter if they lose their Lesh. But no, the Ravage comes in. Valky there to back up Nana. They'll kill off Canis Vulpus, and Gremlo is again on the run. But he's going to be cut off. Aridus from the Dire jungle looking to move his way in with the Stroke of Fate to slow him down. They ultimately are not going to be able to catch him out. So I think saving the Leshrac and getting the puck kill is going to feel pretty good for Latam defenders.
Yeah, they forced out the exorcism here from Gremlo, so you can't really get a push going now on the side of Arkosh, and they're going to have to wait for that spell to be back up if they want to take a bigger 5v5. You are still investing deeply on this PL. So it's all about getting Pale Horse farm right now. They are actually buying him space quite effectively. None of the cores on Latam defenders are quite close. Even Cookahawk's about 2,000 gold apart. So you are finding wins in that pause one. It's just everything else is sort of falling flat here.
Mid lane, they're trying to harass Valky. He is a very tanky boy. The mech there from their Mirana Moonlight. Kind of expect Pale Horse to get involved very soon. Still top of the net worth board, still farming very nicely, but this team is starting to feel like they're going to need him to get involved. But yeah, it's tier 2 again, John. It's going to be focused down.
This time they've got Nana around, so they've got the edict to actually melt the tower through. That should get the job done. Of course, that does allow Arkosh to also focus in bot. No exorcism means this is going to be slightly slower, but it should still eventually go to siege creep around. So they're going to trade tier 2 for tier 2, and they get to shove in the mid tier 1 as well.
They are. Mid tier 1 goes, top tier 2 does go. Latam defenders starting to make their way back into the mid lane. Valky will go ahead and take care of the creep wave. They'll have Ravage back up in 10 seconds. Canis Vulp is actually going to sneak behind the tree line, and not sure what he's up to though. Is he looking to set up for his team? They might find Aridus by himself. Let's get the D-Water. Dallas not going to connect from Cookahawk, but they know where the puck is. Arrow is also not going to land. You don't want to waste too much time chasing down this puck. It's going to orb away back to the creep wave, and he'll actually go ahead and farm that up. They still haven't caught him out, and he's going to TP right out in front of them. There will be no cancellation. What a waste of time and space created by Canis Vulpus.
Yeah, just gives Arkosh some breathing room. Still building up on Pale Horse. SNY up and running on that PL. So he is a lot tankier in the front lines now. Can get some damage in if he wants to join these fights. But it's a very patient PL here from Pale Horse, and we see this from him time and time and again. He doesn't necessarily want to join fights even with these items. He wants that Ag Shard, he wants the Aether Lens, he wants the Octarine before anything else. Of course, Latam defenders would like to farm, but
Canis going to look to orb out of there. He did avoid the stun. It's going to be just fine. In the meanwhile, Arkosh is going to try and split push the other lanes and force Latam defenders to come back up top and defend that lane.
Radiant should look to their top tower.
So Pale Horse
Yep.
now, SNY up. Do you go for the Octarine Core again, John? Is that the play?
I think so. I think that's genuinely what a couple of core players that do still pick the PL seem to think, that the shard is just worth that investment. They do pop the Exorcism up top, so Gremlo should find this one solo, but they're going to trade the bot tier 1. Looks like if they're not careful. Na is around, Edict is up, and it should be a direct tower trade, which honestly isn't too bad for Latam defenders. Arkosh shrinking map space just a bit, evening it out, so they still have spaces to play, but so does Latam defenders. You have to watch this itemization on the Mirana. Guardian Greaves up means they're so much more durable now, and they are smoked up, still waiting on that Ravage here.
They are. If they really wanted to, they could try and make a play for the Roshan. It would be really early, but the draft they have, they could try to make it happen. Valky is in the pit. He's starting by himself. Arrow is gonna whiff as well, because he kind of moved. Bit of a mistake there from Valky. But it looks like they're gonna be able to get this uncontested. Arkosh, they are kind of nearby. They might scout this out in the nick of time, as Goat is gonna spot out Moonlight. The Roshan is less than half HP though. And Goat is still the only one around. He's trying to stop the outpost being taken, but it's going to cost him his life. Arrow is there. They get the Ogre. They get the Aegis. Happy days for Latam defenders.
Yeah, they find all the things they want to there. Unfortunately, they didn't have the outpost when it swung, so you actually did get a little bit more EXP on the 20-minute mark there for Arkosh. So some value from sacrificing Goat, but the free age is definitely not what you want. Going to be harder to fight in, although...
Aridus, Dreamcore catches him out. Lance is there to boot, but they have the pipe bomb. So Valky going to keep the Grimstroke safe, as now they look towards going on to Gremlo, but Valky going to lose a bit of mana there by the PL illusions. And now Moonlight jumping in for an arrow onto Canis Fulpers. Shackle does not latch. Nana can't land the Split Earth either. Canis does juke that out, but a nice Soulbind locking them down. Gremlo is trying to run, but he is set to fall. Another two down. The one thing Arkosh does do really well, John, is they keep the bot lane pushed out quite a bit, and it's going to make it quite hard to get any objectives for Latam defenders.
And it should be enough time for Arkosh to reset here. Pale Horse with the Ag Shard is really good at de-shoving waves. Just get the Lance off, creeps die, the illusions do the rest, and they can burn mana quickly as well. So Pale Horse is actually holding by himself quite nicely. There is still a Ravage on Latam defenders, but because of that mana burn, Valky just does not have the mana to actually counterplay.
Crow could go for a Shackle. Place the Ironwood tree down, but a bit late. BKB now up on Hook. They should really be willing to fight soon on Latam defenders, because they still have the Ravage.
He melts. Like, the Lance chases him all the way, and the illusion damage is just pretty ridiculous with that shard. So you have to watch yourself, as I believe the shard, you know, it does give increased damage, at least on the Lances, by 30%. So it's 50% damage illusions coming out, and that is the value in this build-up. Like, Pale Horse can play non-committal and get some damage out.
Hook is going to try and fight by himself with this 10-second BKB, but no, he's going to go for the TP out. They force the 10-second charge out of the MK. Gremlo now going to try and chase down Valky. Again, he's a very tough target to get through. Pale Horse going to join in. Valky, it's going to be okay. Guiding Greaves will come in and he'll just turn right back around for a gush, but now they've caught the left track. There's your Soulbind out from Aridus, but Gremlo is chasing the backlines, killing off Moonlight and the Mirana. Nana is also extremely low on that Lesh. Shackle is going to land perfectly as well onto Valky. They do get the Lesh, and now Aridus should drop, but still doesn't. Ravage is out. Valky going to try and fight along with Hook. They'll get one. They'll get a second. Could they go for more? It looks like they probably can. Nana, he's moving forward now. With the Boundless out, Pale Horse getting very, very low. Buyback is going to be there from Canis, as now the Shackle and Power Shot is going to kill off the Lesh. But they got Pale Horse on the PL. Canis and Gremlo are going to also kill off Aridus. And Valky is still alive, but that's a very nice Shackle there from Crow onto his own Ironwood tree. eventually, they will crack the watermelon.
Oh. That was a very back and forth fight from both sides. Losing Pale Horse is not great, but you can see the damage he does with his build-up. Like, so much damage flies out from the PL as long as he gets to spam those lances out even very early on. And in the end, Latam defender's not going to be feeling too happy about how the Aegis went there. You also lost that charge on the Bloodstone. A fresh Bloodstone there for our Lesh, not getting the full value. So you do have to worry about that. Oh.
Arrow just lands there onto the Ogre. Goat had a bit of time to try and dodge it, but doesn't quite get there. We'll take the outpost back as well.
Yeah, you need a little bit more here on Latam defender's end. We saw Coco Hook. He had to pop his BKB before the fight to TP home. Never ideal on a core hero like that. He is saving up for his Ags. Once you have that, more damage output there. But the way to deal with the PL now is getting a bit harder. You do still have that good wave clear, but the moment Pale Horse gets to itemize for, say, the heart down the line, you might not have enough damage to melt these illusions as fast as you'd expect here.
Gremlo top lane. It's being stalked right now by Cocohook. But looks like he'll go after the creep wave instead. Rest of Latam defenders moving into that dire triangle. Arkosh moving their way in, forcing them out.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Latam defenders not willing to fight without that big Ravage up. Pale Horse going to run straight into Valky while he's in Viz. He's actually going to find him. These illusions are getting quite annoying, I'm sure, for Valkyries. He keeps just running out of mana. Soulbind is there, though. They've got the PO and the Ogre, but it doesn't really matter. They can't keep up with them. And now Gremlo going to come in from the backside onto 3 with the Exorcism. It's a lot of damage, and Eridus will go down, but now the Ravage is out. They kill off Gremlo. Goat will go down as well. Crow also caught out on the Wind Ranger. A nice Stream Coil, but it's going to do nothing as they have no follow-up to it. Or maybe they do. They keep throwing out Lances. But it's not going to be quite enough. And Cocohook is going to continue chasing up the puck. Arrow won't land, but Canis can knock it out of this surely. He'll try to orb away, but he can't get out. The only one is going to be Pale Horse to survive. He's right back to farming. But Latam defenders should be able to maybe find a tower out of this.
I mean, they've still got Leshrac. He's still fairly healthy. Bloodstone up at 17 charges now, so should be able to regen quite quick. You have to admire the warding here from Latam defenders as well. They have such good control on that bottom half of the map. They've got wards watching their ramps, wards watching the triangle, wards watching the lane. So Arkosh just have no real angles to approach these fights. And Latam defenders, every time they have that Ravage and the Wukongs, they get the combo off. It's very hard to fight into.
Tier 2 tower under siege. Pale Horse. Shackles out on the creeps. Not going to land. No idea what I was saying earlier on, John.
I didn't hear anything, Mike. I'm too busy playing DP, of course. Not a great game for me. I mean, I've got my Travels up, got my BKB, Hood of Defiance up, trying to save up for my Shivas, but all I can really do now is try to split push, prevent the lanes from getting too out of control, and hope that the investment here on Pale Horse does pay off. It looks like he is actually just going to go into the Octarine, perhaps, still holding off, only has the Aether Lens, but it should be the upgrade. So we'll see that come out, and we'll just see how balanced Spirit Lance can get. I mean, we still have to look for higher tier items, right? Like the Quickening Charm, Spell Prism is probably something Pale Horse will enjoy as well. We'll see if those drop down as the game goes on.
Yeah, my apologies away to Pale Horse. I think it was all the talk about this promo code I was hearing about at the start of the game just kind of got stuck in my head there. Still been trying to figure out who it is, this BSJ character, but maybe I'll Google it later on.
Oh yeah, still another pause. Some connection issues here, but Cocohook is immediately back. No time for the all chat from Arkosh. Keeping it tied, and they are behind 6k. So considering that it's 20-8, only being 6k behind isn't too bad. That's mainly down to the fact that Pale Horse is the only hero farmed up. Look at Gremlo, way behind, and look at me, I'm way behind.
Damn
Look at
drawings.
Candace Vulpes. Canis Vulpus is also lagging behind in the puck. Does have his travels and blink, so you have angles to initiate. We've been seeing them try, but it's not quite enough.
It's so childish to laugh at this, but at the same time, it's just so funny. It just never gets
They're
old.
just- They can't even draw them properly.
No, they can't. Like 2-year-olds. We'll need a second before we get the arm pause going. So what do you think Arkosh need to do, John? 20 to
Stall.
8, 6. Yeah, just kind of drag it out as long as
keep
possible,
stalling.
right? Yeah.
And look at Pale Horse. He's already going for the Octarine. There's no dissuading Pale Horse. He will go for this build every time he gets a PL. I don't know if he's trying to prove a point because I think we've seen Lies do this, and we've seen him do it. And I'm trying to remember if we saw. So it's literally every single PL we've seen in this tournament has almost always gone for
I mean, it
the
makes enough
Octarine down
sense.
the line.
It makes enough sense.
It is value. It is value, right? Like we just saw what happens to the supports when they do get chased down by these illusions. So they do a lot of damage. I think we just have to see that it really pay off. Like it takes time, and you need neutral items to really maximize it. Quickening Charm, Spell Prism are what you'd look out for. So again, it just takes certain circumstances to maximize it. And Latam defenders, they're already scaling nicely. Cook has his Ags, can just stand in the middle and fight, get some soldiers up as well to get hits off. We already have, again, the Bloodstone up on Nanana. He's saving up for his own Shiva's Guard now. And once you've got that, you're a lot tankier on the Leshrac. And you can sort of weaken down the rest of the line of Arkosh. That slow is something people tend to underestimate. Of course, the healing reduction effect is pretty nice as well. You do have some good answers here on the side of Latam defenders as they still maintain that lead. Valky as well, going for the Ags on the Tide. So he's going to have that AoE Gush, which allows you to clear out PL illusions a lot safer.
Mid lane, an attempt onto the Leshrac. Canis will just get used up. Crow was there smoked up along with Pale Horse. Not going to be able to close the gap though. Gremlo just going to TP out of the bot lane, consistently keeping this lane pushed in.
Tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, Latam defenders, they were looking for the next Roshan, but it is going to be roughly a minute and a half before we do get to see it up again.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Of course, Latam defenders are going to have to come and defend this lane, push it back out, and maybe just wait a bit for the next Roshan, but they are starting to loop from the backside. Smoke up. Goat is going to get run into. Smoke broken. Moonlight Shadow is there. Goat, he will be happily tanking the gank here for the side of Arkosh. And everyone else is pretty much just out scot-free, apart from Canis, but he can TP at any time. The TPs to the outpost after Gremlo.
Oh.
Valky, gush out. Slow him down. Gremlo, Spirit Siphon back. Moonlight is also there. And Ravage going to be committed. They really want the DP. And they're going to be able to get him. Still Crow going after the Mirana, but the Guardian Greaves are going to save his life. They still haven't got the damage out. They're trying. The Soulbind going to slow down the Ranger. Moonlight somehow still alive, still trying to run. Pale Horse will come in and clean him up. Now Nana running back in. There's your Boundless Strike and your Wukong's command from Cook. And Pale Horse is not looking too healthy, but he is going to be able to doppel away his Goat. Does throw his body at the side as Latam defenders. They'll sacrifice himself for the greater good. Roshan is up in 3 seconds, so it's great timing for the defenders if they can scout it out.
We've just got to be worried about fighting without Ravage, as Pale Horse does have the Octarine, so almost full swing on this PL build-up. 3.8 second cooldown on the Lance. You've got some more stats to play with. Just wondering what Pale Horse wants to go for next. We usually see something with the heart, but it does feel like he might want some damage itemization here. We'll see. Cook is soloing though, and a Monkey with the Ags, of course, can start the Roche quite quickly by himself.
Kind of silly how the statues attack Roshan, John. Let's keep going. Arkosh are around. They're not going to let this go down for free. Lancers are starting to get very annoying here. The Latam defenders as they now move into the Roshan Arkosh. With the Exorcism, they're going to try and port this one out, but Hook does have vision. Arrow going to land on the Roshan. Dream Coil being committed, but it's basically on nobody. Now, it's just an absolute mess. They do go in onto the DP. Gremlo dropping very low, still trying to heal up, but he will not make it out. They do at least get Aridus. But now Hook is in the Roshan pit with the Wukong's command going. They'll buy back on Gremlo, but it's going to be too late. The Aegis and Cheese has been taken. And now they'll turn right back around to protect Valky. Canis still does get the kill on the Tide. Cheese is going to be eaten, but what a Shackle's coming out from Crow, locking them down and getting the kills.
Oh god.
Aegis already gone. Back on the Nanana. He is completely surrounded here, and another Shackle out from Crow is going to mean they lock him down and should be able to get this kill. They need to back off a bit because they are dropping quite low on HP. In fact, Nana, he's going to try and turn this around, but Gremlo has a BKB. He's going to be able to fight back. And Arkosh, they do end up winning that team fight.
And they make it work. They did grab Aegis and Latam defenders and do get the code for the time as well. Thank you, Goat. Not very pleased with you right now. Still, they find wins, and Arkosh, despite being 7k behind, the investment in Pale Horse is actually working out. So, Crow telling us what the timings are. Thank you, Crow. And they go straight into the high ground. We don't have Exorcism right now, but the towers still melt to the illusion spam, forces the fortify out. They are a bit unhealthy on Arkosh's answer. They're going to have to watch as Ravage is back up for Valky when he respawns. So a bit more cautious play here from Arkosh, but they are still in the game. Heart now being lined up for Pale Horse. His illusions are going to start to be a lot harder to deal with. And this is the point where you start to wonder whether or not the Leshrac just kind of tapered off already. It's not doing as much. It still does damage, but it's not nearly enough to control Pale Horse up.
Very true, John. Now, Heart of Taras is going to make it very hard to get rid of this PL. They're still drawing on the map as the game's going on. Smokes up from Latam defenders. They're going to try and go into the die triangle. It's like Goat might be there to tank the gank here on the Ogre. In fact, he'll make it out. This smoke is not really going to lead to much. They do have the option for Canis. He's going to reveal himself now with an orb out. But they have gone the other way. Back up north where they'll go after the tier 2 mid tower. Pale Horse is going to be around to just keep defending as the illusions fly out. It's a lot of damage. The Shackle there as well. They have to Greaves up the Lesh. But now the Coil is there. He's just perma-stunned. He'll pop the Bloodstone. Those Lancers are absolutely disgusting to see as another nice Shackles out on the Mirana with the Dagon out from... Who was that Dagon from? It was Canis Vulpus. Valky trying to run, more Lancers to fly out, however. Valky's going to die. Onto the Monkey King they go. Hook. He's going to try with the Wukong's command, but Crow just pops the Wind Run and gets out of there. Onto Aridus. They get him before he can TP out. Back into the Wukong's command. They will find another.
Oh my god.
Arkosh
they
game.
Just do damage. From a mile away, Mike. This Octarine is the most impressed I've been with it. Last time around, he just came in with all the farm in the world. This time, he's actually contributing to the fights, setting up for the team. And now with Heart up, you do not have answers for the PL. Good timing on the Exorcism from me, Gremlo, as we take the racks and Latam defenders from an 8k lead almost, down to almost nothing as they lose the first set of racks, maybe even more.
A very big deal here for Arkosh. A tier 3 tower going at a nice steady pace. No Exorcism left there from Gremlo. That'll be the bot racks also going down. Latam defenders still hold on to one, and they have a tier 2 tower up at that top lane, so no threat of that going down yet. But Arkosh gaining a heavy lead now in this game 1. Even taking the net worth lead their way by 2k, and you've got to be confident now if you're on this dire side.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot. There's even farm coming out here on Crow. Has the BKB, has the MKB queued up. A lot of setup coming out from Crow. These Shackles are just ruining Latam defenders. I mean, they're not clumped up even. They're very disciplined with how they space themselves out, but the angles just keep coming in. I'm not sure why a certain manager doesn't like this hero if Crow performs this way.
Valky, oh, Shackles out again. Gonna lock down the tide, but the Kraken will save. Pale Horse now coming in with the Lancers, and you just can't fight into these illusions. They are so annoying.
Jeez.
They keep spawning. Nana can't take him out. He's been stunned up, and now the Shackles again.
Oh
Crow
my God.
landing another great Shackles. Ravage is out. It doesn't really do too much, but they get Canis. Crow dying to the Wukong's command. Looks like the Ravage does end up saving him, but again, Pale Horse getting started with all the Lancers, just spamming them out over and over again. They get him with the Yule Scepter with the Fire Blast, gonna stun up the Mirana. Now they might have to go for this fight. Nana just going straight after the PL, might be able to get him, and finally does. The Gremlo is still trying to fight back. Can't kill off Eridus. Arrow is gonna connect, and Latam defenders actually have Arkosh down with no buybacks, John.
Oh, this is a bad spot now. Very wonky team fight for Arkosh, fighting into Ravage and Wukongs and getting stuck up. The fact that Canis Vulpus just got blown up in the middle of all of that is what really cost them. And now, Tier 3s, Rax, maybe even Tier 4 is going to be targeted as they know the buybacks aren't up.
I don't think they do know, John. None of them are on cooldown apart from Gremload. It's just about not having enough gold. So Latam, yeah, there's the pings out. They realize it now. There's no buybacks. Let's just go for the T4 towers with another nice Shackles though. Crow really trying to slow it down as best as possible. But the Shackles aren't going to be enough if they don't have Pale Horse up and ready to go, as Goad is going to get caught by an arrow. Another Shackles not landing this time, and Valky's going to jump straight in onto the Ogre, onto the Ancient. There you go. And Arkosh, so close yet so far, and all the tips going to come out for Canis Vulpus. Oh boy.
Canis Vulpus, he got blown up in the last fight. They needed him alive a lot longer. The PL alone just can't juke and drive by himself. He needed another distraction on Arkosh's end. Good holdout from Arkosh though. It looked really bad for a lot of that game, but they weren't ever too far behind. Pale Horse just farms like a madman, but it's not enough. Latam defenders found the angles. They lost a couple of fights in the middle, and I guess if you look at that graph, Mike, look at that graph. Look
like
at
the,
that spike.
looks like the pictures they were drawing on the map, John. It was very pointy.
Just a back and forth. Excellent game one. Latam does come out on top. We'll see if Arkosh can reel in some of that aggression, and whether or not they go back to this build from Pale Horse. But I gotta say, I'm sold. It actually worked here.
It actually worked? I mean, it kind of worked, John. They kind of lost the game, but
I mean, they lost, but it was doing its job, you know?
All right, fair. I'll give him that. The Octarine core did seem pretty darn good that game. Let's see how game 2 goes, though. It is MLP johnxfire, and we'll be back in roughly 10 to 12 minutes to see how the game 2 draft goes. We'll see you soon.